Could Arsenal be looking at Benjamin Pavard to potentially replace Jurrien Timber after his unfortunate ACL injury? Yes, people, welcome back to another Arsenal transfer news video. As always, if you love everything about Arsenal just like I do, you found the perfect channel. Make sure you subscribe down below on my road to 5,000 subscribers and let me know in the comment section your thoughts on Benjamin Pavard's links to Arsenal. Let's get straight into the tweet brought today by the great Fabrizio Romano, and it states this: Benjamin Pavard, one to watch as he's prepared to leave Bayern now. Inter Pavard on top of their list, proposal expected soon to open talks. Man United's deal stalling due to Maguire's situation. And then finally, could become an option for Arsenal to replace Timber, but no decision yet. And for me, I think this is the type of player Arsenal should be going for. Now, Benjamin Pavard obviously is a proper good fullback. He's been around the game for a while. Many people remember him from that goal he scored for France against Argentina in the World Cup. Fantastic goal. Outside of his boot, just finessed it into the top corner. Honestly, the goal of the World Cup, and won it rightfully so. Obviously, he's been at Bayern Munich and he hasn't quite established himself as one of the best fullbacks in the world, but he's been very consistent. And I think if he comes in for us, he could do a proper good job. Now, he's tall for a fullback, and we know that nowadays with Man City under Pep Guardiola, they like to play those tall fullbacks that are basically centre-backs, playing those four centre-backs along the back four. And Arteta's tried to implement the same thing with Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel, and of course, Jurrien Timber, who are like those four centre-backs playing across that back four. Now, due to Timber's injury, we are a bit short-staffed there. Fortunately, Zinchenko looks like he's back in training. He did play in a friendly game between Arsenal and Luton Town yesterday, so that's really good news. But if Zinchenko gets injured, which is a high possibility, given Zinchenko's track record, we do become very thin at left back. Especially with the links of Kieran Tierney leaving the football club. It does look likely that Kieran Tierney will leave Arsenal in the next couple of weeks of this remaining transfer window. Now, me personally, I don't mind Kieran Tierney leaving just because I know he doesn't really fit Arteta's system, and Arteta doesn't really fancy Tierney, so he might as well go for his own career to get some more game time. But if Tierney is to go, we do need to replace him. I dropped a video recently on Carl Walker-Peters. I think he would be a good signing for 20 million. A real good opportunity to bring in, and he can obviously be a rotation player in the squad. Premier League proven as well, as he's played there before. And coming from Southampton, a team in the Championship, you could potentially get him on a cut deal for 20 million or less. Now, Benjamin Pavard, equally, I don't think it costs an awful lot of money. I think we're talking around the £30 million mark, if that, purely because he wants to leave Bayern Munich. And Bayern Munich just signed Harry Kane, so they need to recoup the funds one way or another. And if he wants to go, I don't see Bayern Munich keeping Benjamin Pavard around long. Now, obviously there's competition. And whenever there's competition, the price goes up. It's like demand and supply, right? Limited supply in one player, demand's up, therefore the price gets shot up as well. Man United are interested, but let's see what manifests with the Maguire deal, because it seems like they were only going for Benjamin Pavard if Harry Maguire does go to West Ham United, for example. Inter Milan's another tricky one. I'm not really sure what's going to happen there with them. They look like they're interested as well in Benjamin Pavard. If they got that one over the line with a good bid, anything could happen there. But Arsenal, let's see what we do, because the talks have started. We now know the true severity of Jurrien Timber's ACL injury. It's much worse than initially feared. He will be out for pretty much the whole season, if not the whole season. And look, the main thing we could do is just wish him the absolute best. We don't want injury on anyone. We don't wish injury on anyone, especially Jurrien Timber, someone that obviously a new signing, wants to install himself on the Arsenal team, imprint himself on this style. Played really good first two games, especially in that Community Shield. I thought for me he was arguably man of the match alongside Saliba. Then obviously in his first 45 minutes against Forest, really good as well. So it's a massive hammer blow to him, but hopefully he just gets back stronger. He gets time with the physios, gets time with the doctors, heals himself, rests, and comes back ASAP to the pitch, which hopefully will be 5 months. I'm hoping will be like a good benchmark for him, because we know with ACL injuries, not only is it a long time, more often than not, the players don't come back the same. And that's the saddest thing about those ACL injuries. Although they're not career ending, they can be very much career altering. So we have to hope and pray that Jurrien Timber comes back stronger, recovers well, rests well, and comes back, because we know he's going to be a top player for us for many years to come, especially at his young age. So Arsenal held their internal discussions. It looks like we potentially now are looking to bring in a top fullback in to obviously replace Timber and be someone that can rotate in with this squad, potentially start or be back up to Zinchenko. I'd be all for that. So this is the thing. Obviously Timber's injury is a shame, but it happened within the transfer window. So we have time to obviously adapt it. Last season, right, I believe Partey got injured and we end up playing El Neni in certain games. We started El Neni against Fulham. That happened during the transfer windows as well. And Arsenal obviously looked to address that by bringing in Douglas Luiz. That didn't quite materialise. Aston Villa ended up keeping a player despite 3 bids on deadline day. And Arsenal ended up not addressing that CDM position. I'm not going to say it cost us a title, because we lost the title in March, April. But it could have done. So do Arsenal want to make the same mistake this year with losing Timber and thinking, you know what, we're all right. We've got depth. We've got Tierney. We've got Tomiyasu, Zinchenko, etc. We'll be good. Or do they actually go into the market and go, you know what, let's not make the same mistake again. Timber's injured. We're going to need to bring in a fullback. We're going to need to build this squad depth because God forbid Zinchenko gets injured now. And that's our 2 starting fullbacks gone out the team, injured for a sustained period. So for me, if I was Arsenal, I would be looking to bring in a fullback. And if Benjamin Pavard's available on the market, that's a top fullback out there on a cut deal potentially. I'd like to see it happen. In other news, it seems though Nottingham Forest are targeting Monaco striker Fofana. Now, you're probably thinking, how does that have any links to Arsenal? And you're probably right. But what that does mean is that Monaco are in the market now for a striker. If Nottingham Forest are willing to pay the 34 million that is being quoted by Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein, that means Monaco will raise 34 million, lose their starting striker, which means they'll now probably go in for following Balogun and pay the asking price Arsenal want, which is around 50 million euros. And if that's the case, we wish Balogun the best, but for 50 million, that's a good deal. We got to get him out the door. I've also heard rumours that Tottenham Hotspur of all clubs are interested in bringing following Balogun to White Hart Lane. Well, it's not White Hart Lane anymore, it's the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But you know what I mean? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Would you sell Balogun to Tottenham? And if so, how much would you sell him for? For me, I would sell Balogun to Tottenham for £80 million. That's correct. 50 million for Monaco, 80 million for Tottenham. Hey, North London tax. You know what I mean? But so look, obviously I wouldn't want to sell any Arsenal player to Tottenham, unless it's Rob Holding or something. Then he can go to Tottenham any day of the week. But you know what I mean? So for Tottenham, you have to pay that little luxury tax, as I call it, if they want to sign any Arsenal players. I don't see Arsenal selling any players to Tottenham Hotspur. Arsenal and Tottenham have not made a deal between the clubs since the 70s. Only Sol Campbell, and that was on a free transfer. And Tottenham fans still hate him to this day. So I can't see Arsenal selling Balogun to Tottenham whatsoever. I do see Balogun exiting the football club, but I do think he's more likely to go to Monaco at this current stage, especially Monaco selling their star striker to Nottingham Forest. It obviously gives them the funds and it vacates a position for them to bring in following Balogun. And if Balogun does come in, that's £50 million raised. I've spoken about Arsenal needing to sell players and obviously raise funds. Well, 50 million is a hell of a lot of money. We can afford to bring in a top fullback like a Kyle Walker-Peters, like a potentially Cancelo or a Pavard, and still have money left over to bring in an attacking player. Like for me, Mohamed Kudus should be that player we target. That's just my thoughts on it. But yeah, I do expect these 2 weeks of left this transfer window to ramp up heavily for Arsenal. I do expect more deals to materialise. That's got to be the case given this Timber injury. But it has fortunately happened within the transfer window, which gives Arsenal time to address it. So let's see what happens. Arsenal play on Monday now. I don't expect any incomings to come before our game against Crystal Palace. But after that, I do expect us to then get active in the transfer market again once we sell some key players like Balogun, for example, and others around him as well. Let's see what Arsenal are going to do. I hear that Nuno Tavares is also linked with Nottingham Forest, so he could be going there. If we can get around 10 million for him, plus, that would be a good deal in my eyes as well. And that could raise 60 million across Nuno Tavares and following Balogun, which is exactly what I want to hear. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section regarding any Arsenal transfer news. Do you want to see Pavard come to Arsenal? Would you rather sign someone else like Kyle Walker-Peters? Or do you not think Arsenal need a fullback at all and would rather spend all the money on a Mohamed Kudus, for example? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. If you're new around here and love keeping up with Arsenal news and are a hardcore Arsenal fan just like myself, you're at the right place. Make sure you subscribe down below. My road to 5,000 subscribers. Drop a like down below so the video gets out to more people in the algorithm. And I hope to catch you all in my next video. Take care.